Hi everybody, how are you? This is a quick catch-up of the briefing that we did for appraisals for the inset for 2024-25. So appraisals, as we discussed in the session, are going to be underpinned by these 5 principles: support, accountability, transparency, fairness and consistency, so that you feel safe, you feel supported. We've got the accountability that really matters this year. We do need to hold everyone to account and ensure that with evidence that the process is transparent, that it's fair and that it's consistent. And we'll ensure the fairness and consistency with appraisal moderation between the senior leadership team, so that if you've got 2 members performing exactly the same, that their appraisals should reflect that. It's remembering that appraisals is a process of discussions and dialogue, and that you, as the person being appraised, is very much part of the conversation, and it's an opportunity for you to challenge. The outcomes of the appraisals include the fact that great work and growth of teachers is recognised and celebrated. Areas for development are shared, understood, supported and owned, and that's really important, because you should feel that you have really written your own targets. If you feel that you can own your areas for development because you've identified them yourself, then you're more likely to achieve them, rather than us telling you exactly what it is you need to do and improve on. Everyone is encouraged to grow, improve and develop. There is nobody that is perfect. There isn't a finished article in the school. Everyone is growing at different stages of their career, and to have that growth mindset is a really useful part of the psychology that benefits everybody. Everyone feels valued and able to contribute. Everyone throughout the school deserves their voice, and everyone's opinion and perspective matters. The senior leadership team would struggle if it didn't listen to the opinions and the viewpoints of everyone at the school to build that picture of what working here actually feels like. So everyone should feel able to contribute, whether that's in an appraisal or in an informal discussion. The freedom and the safety to speak freely with us is really important. And ultimately, for appraisals, what this means is that students' learning experience keeps getting better, because what we do as practitioners, as teachers, and as professionals keeps getting better. It should result in a better experience for the young people that we work with. Feedback from the Term 3 appraisals. I'm not going to read through all of these, but it's important that we acknowledge the negative feedback alongside the positive feedback. So here's 2 or 3 of the highlights of the negative feedback. And we're learning from all of these. And on the screen now are highlights of the positive comments that we've got from the feedback from the Term 3 appraisals. And I will say from that, just to make really clear, that the feedback was overwhelmingly positive from the vast majority of the 20 or so members of staff who completed the feedback form about the appraisals, which was really nice to see. But of course, the appraisal system can be improved. If you'd like to see the feedback, feel free to come to the head teacher or to me, and I'm more than happy to share that with you. So, staff appraisal is a balance of support and evidence-based accountability. And the evidence-based accountability matters, that we hold you to account with evidence, and you identify your growth and your successes with evidence. The evidence really matters. But it's an ecosystem where the support goes into your practice, and then we see the evidence of that support coming through in your lessons and your performance. It involves the CPD program and the performance targets. So the evidence that we see, the books, the learning walks, all help to identify what needs to be supported. So we develop a school CPD program and then tie that to the staff appraisal, so that the CPD is making a difference. We also use the evidence-based accountability, the things that we look out for in our observations and the books, etc., to identify individual areas of development for every member of staff. The heads of department might do that, the lead teachers might do that. And from that, the targets for your appraisal are identified. Some of those will be whole school targets, others will be individual. And then once you've worked out your performance targets, we can ask the question, how can the school support you? How can you improve so that you meet those targets? And if you've got all that there, the performance improves, we evaluate your targets, the successes and the areas still to develop, and we look at the evidence that you've produced throughout the year and help us to identify how have you thrived, what still needs to be improved. And from that, we go and revise our school CPD programme, and it goes into a cycle. When will the appraisals take place? We'll all have our first start of year appraisals in September, after a couple of weeks of the students being back, in which targets and support is established. In term 2, in January and into February, there will be optional and selected check-ins. If anyone would like to have a check-in with their appraiser, they can find the head of departments and lead teacher and make that appointment. Selected check-ins will be informed if there are any members of staff for whom there might be a concern. And then finally, in term 3, we've got the end of year appraisal like we did last year, where the targets and the rubric are reviewed. And it's just an important note at the bottom that the outcome is subject to teaching performance until July, so that even if the appraisal is finished in April, that does not mean that the teaching performance can slide in term 3. The standards need to remain as high in term 3 as throughout the rest of the year. Who is appraised? Everyone's appraised, even the head teacher, who's appraised by the board, and the SLT, who are appraised by the head teacher and the board. Everyone is subject to this appraisal process, so that the school moves forward and there is fairness on that front. Who appraises with me? And it's remembering that the appraisal is done with you, not to you. It is a conversation rather than a one-way judgment. So the appraisal involves you, the staff member, one appraiser and a second appraiser, and we make a triangle of a conversation. Those appraisers could be the head teacher, a head of department, or a lead teacher. But the point is that an appraisal is never one person judgment of you. It's never one voice versus another voice. And beyond that, there'll be many people contributing to your appraisal with observations, with learning walks and discussions. And that includes students as well, actually. So it's always remembering that the appraisal is an outcome from many people's contributions and observations of the work that you do. It's never one person's judgment against you or with you. Who is my appraisal shared with? The appraisers report only to the head teacher, so they don't go to other departments. It's straight up to the head teacher. The head teacher summarises the findings to the board, but otherwise appraisals are strictly confidential and your appraisal documents are kept in the safest place possible on the drive so that only Dr. Core can access them freely. And that is what the appraisal form looks like, and that is the end of the appraisal briefing. Do come to me or to Dr. Core or have a word with your head of department if you've got any questions or concerns around the appraisal. Thank you very much for watching this, and I'll see you soon.